Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am sharing a really soft slimline card where I am using the Meadow Bunnies from Hello Bluebird. And for the slimline card I took the slim card basics from Mama Elephant. And the images I am stamping out on Strathmore Bristol Smooth with my Distress Ink Antique Linen. Because I'm going to do once more some Noline coloring with Distress inks. This will currently at this moment be my final Noline coloring with Distress ink, so I really hope that you enjoyed my previous videos and that you are encouraged to try it yourself, that maybe you learned something. So today I'm showing it again how I do it, and then I will probably switch to my copics for a while again. But yeah, if you are curious of seeing some more Noline coloring with Distress inks, you can always let me know, and then I will try to make another card using this technique to share with you as well. But for now, enjoy this sort of final card using my Distress inks. As I have done in the previous videos, I am again showing you the inks before I take them to my acrylic block. And for that first bunny I am using that antique linen again, and actually the idea was to create some sort of a shadow base with this antique linen and then go over it with a darker color. But when I was finished layering and adding those shadows, I was really happy with the result, so I decided to keep this bunny really light and not adding any other colors to it. So this one is purely with antique linen for the coloring of the bunny itself, not the ears of course and the eyes. But yeah, the others I will do with vintage photos, so just so you know. As you see here and in my previous videos, I add the ink on the edge where I want more depth, more shadow to be, and then I take my paintbrush to my water, make it damp, and then drag the color into the rest of the image, so I'm softening it. And if you want to go darker, you just can keep adding layers and layers, but don't forget to stop as soon as you like it. I would suggest. In the past I quite often made it too dark as well, because I just wasn't sure, or I thought that one layer could do something more, and then afterwards I was like, I should have stopped. So if you like the result you have, just stop, and if your other images turn out darker, you can either add color or do them again. But just, yeah, decide for yourself when you find it good enough, and you can always add something afterwards. So for the rest of the coloring I am putting on some music and I will be back afterwards. Okay, so now my images are done and I am using the matching dies to die cut them. So now I have laid out my images and I need to decide which colors I'm going to use for the background. So I have here all my colors of Distress inks swatched out using the color combos from Waffle Flowers, and these three colors were truly those that spoke to me. But in the end, I'm using Victorian Velvet, but only really softly. So I will be ink blending Victorian Velvet on the bottom of each sort of window, just to have a gradient and some place for the bunnies to sit or stand on. And then I will also be ink blending a bit of Victorian Velvet from the edges towards the middle of my bigger panel. So having laid out all the pieces, I am going to adhere everything. I want to create some dimensions, so I am taking my Scotch foam tape and I'm just adding it on the back of each sort of window cutout piece or whatever you want to call it. And then afterwards I can also adhere my images that I am doing with a combination of liquid glue as well with some other Scotch foam tape, because of course if some pieces are sticking out of this higher up window, then it might get blocked when mailing, so I wanted to flatten everything out using the same heights of adhesive. Now that everything is adhered, I really want to add a sentiment. So therefore I took the stem set once more and I figured out that this wonderful sentiment could fit in between those two. I'm saying windows all the time, so I will just continue with the window idea. It would fit perfectly between the windows. checking whether placement is okay. It wasn't. These whimsical scripty fonts really make it hard for me to line it straight, but in the end it worked out fine, so I'm just going with it. To stamp it out, I am using Victorian Velvet, but this time the Distress Oxide ink. It's much easier to stamp out your sentiments with this than, for example, Distress inks. And I'm also heat setting my sentiment, to be sure. After heat setting the sentiment, I just adhered it on top of a card base, and then this card is finished. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video and that you like the card design. It's really soft and simple and easy to make, so hopefully you like it. And I am hoping to see you next time as well. Bye!